Hello everyone, my name is Hannah and welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be my November TBR, so all of the books that I want to read in November. It's quite ambitious. I've got a lot of thick, chunky books on this list, so let's just get right into it. So the first book that I will for sure be reading in November is a reread of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I'll be rereading this for my read-along with my friend Christina, so we are reading every Sarah J. Maas book and then we do a live show just discussing all of the spoilers, and I am so freaking excited to reread this and to discuss it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's my second favorite Sarah J. Maas book, and it is a close second to A Court of Mist and Fury, which everybody knows is my favorite book of all time, but I absolutely freaking love this book and I cannot wait to reread it. It is the technically fourth book in a series. It's following different characters, so there is the original trilogy, there's a novella, and then there's this book, which is almost kind of a companion, but it still continues the story. So I will for sure be getting to this one, and I'm really excited to reread it. And I'm gonna change the tab colors that I used to annotate for this because I have all the neon ones, and I've just been really liking finding tab colors that like match the vibe of the book, I guess, and like match the cover even. So I'm moving away from the neon tabs, so I'll be redoing those, and I do have some tab colors to add in addition to that, so I'm excited to do that. Next super chunky book that I have on my November TBR is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. So I'm going to be buddy reading this with a bunch of my friends. I know Lachlan has read this and absolutely loved it, and I really like the Nevernight Chronicles by Jay Kristoff. It's one of my favorite fantasy series, and I've been wanting to read this, but I just haven't been in the mood for it. I started it last year, and I think I only got like 20 pages in before I could just tell like I was not in the mood for it, so I set it down because I didn't want it to affect my enjoyment. But I'm really excited to read this one. I just really like Jay Kristoff's writing, and I'm excited to read a fantasy story about vampires. I'm hoping I really like this one. I don't know like a ton other than it's a fantasy story about vampires, so hopefully I really like this. It is like super chunky. It does also come with like some illustrations in it, which I think is a really nice touch, and I am just really excited to get to this one. I do have the audiobook for this, so I'll probably be listening to that while following along with this. So I will for sure be getting to this one. The next books I'm just going to say together because they kind of all go together. So I want to read Legendary and Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is book 2 and 3 in the Caraval series. I read Caraval last month and I did really enjoy it, and I want to continue the series so that I can eventually get to The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This one is like tentatively on my November TBR, but possibly it's going on my December TBR because I've just got so many books to get through, and I want to read these two before going into that one because it gives a little bit of backstory on one of the main characters in this series, and I really want to know what that is. But also I just really enjoyed like the whimsy and the magic in this, like the magical game aspect to this series. So I'm hoping that these next two books deliver that as well as that it was delivered in Caraval. So these two are getting added. I do want to listen to the audio for these as well, and I got the audio for them from my library, so I can finally read both of these. So I'm really excited to get to these, and hopefully I really enjoy them. All right, again, these next three I'm just going to say all together because it's all one series. So I didn't get a chance to get to these in October, and I need to get to them soon. So it is the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. So Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed will be rereads for me, and I absolutely loved both of these. I gave both of these 5 stars. This one though is like next level. I just freaking loved this one, and I was so highly anticipating Kingdom of the Feared. So I got this when it was released. This is from the UK, so it's got like the UK special first printing thing. It's not the exclusive edition, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, I really want to get to this, so I wanted to do a reread of these two before going into this one. So since I wasn't able to get to these in October, I really want to try to get to these in November. I'm just looking at my TBR stack like, how am I gonna get to all of these? But I'm gonna really try, okay? I'm gonna really try. I would also really like to get to A Twist of the Blade by S.M. Gaither. This is book 2 in the Shadows and Crowns series. So the first book is The Song of the Marked, which I read this summer and I just never continued it. I think I went through like a bit more of a romance phase, and so I just wasn't picking up like a ton of fantasy, but I'm ready to pick this one up. I am eager to see where the story is going to go from here. I also just love that these books like have art in them. I really like the maps. That's like a cool chapter page too. I think there's probably another, yeah, there's more artwork in that back. I just want to continue this series because I don't want to forget the things that happened, and I know that I think it's the first 4 books in this series are already out of 5. I think there's only 5 books. So I do want to continue reading this series, and again, it is another chunker, but I think I can do it. And I'm just really curious to see where the story is going to go. So I'm adding it to the TBR. So then I still need to get my copy, but I want to read Daughter of No Worlds by Clarissa something. I don't know. I'll pop up a picture on the screen, but Rachel read this and really, really liked it. And so I really want to get to it. It sounds like it would be right up my alley. It sounds like kind of a mix of the vibes of Throne of Glass with like a very slow burn romance. And I'm really in the mood for fantasy romance at the moment. So I really want to try to get to this one. And the cover is so beautiful, but like the hardcover, like physical copy itself is so beautiful. So I cannot wait to get to that one. That will probably be my first like book purchase of November. And then the second Flesh and Fire book comes out mid-November, I think November 15th. It's called A Light in the Flame by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So I'll pop that picture up on the screen as well. But it is the second book in the prequel series to the From Blood and Ash series. So I really enjoyed the first book, A Shadow in the Ember, and I want to pick up the next book. I just read the 4th book in the From Blood and Ash series, and those series are starting to like tie together. So I'm really, really eager to get to this one. I will probably pick this up right when it comes out. Then I have volumes 2 and 3 of Spy Family. I read the first volume a little bit ago and I loved it. And so I really just wanted to continue the series. I got the first volume from my library, but they didn't have any of the other volumes. So I just was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna have to buy the series now. Now that I know that I really liked the first one, I have heard that it just gets better and better. So I just bought the next 2 volumes, well, and the first volume, but the next 2 that I need. So I'm gonna read these, I think, when I do a 24-hour readathon with my friends, and then I'll just continue to buy the next ones in the series. But yeah, I'm really liking this series. It's my first manga, and I'm really liking it. All right, and then these next 2 are just like hopefuls if I have time to get to them, because all of those ones that I just talked about are like my top priorities. My top priorities is like 10 books. But these ones, if I have time to get to them, I want to try to get to them. So the first one is Dark Fae by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is set in the same world as the Zodiac Academy series. It is a reverse harem, which I've never read before, so I'm a little nervous to see if I'll like that. But it's set at a different academy than the Zodiac Academy. It's set at Aurora Academy, and it's following characters that make a cameo in the Zodiac Academy, and this is set 5 years before the events of Zodiac Academy. So I want to give it a shot. And since I'm in like a fantasy romance reading mood lately, I think this would be a good one to pick up if I have the time to. If not, I'm going to try to get to it in December, but who knows, maybe I'll get to it. And then the last hopeful is, you know, it's a hopeful, but it's also like, it's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to add it to this TBR because Rachel did. It's Glow by Raven Kennedy. This is the 4th book in the Plated Prisoner series. We have been meaning to buddy read this since June and just haven't. I feel like the reason is, well, one, the audiobook still hasn't come out and we both listened to the series on audio. So we've just been waiting for the audiobook to get released and it hasn't come out yet. And then also like neither of us were really in a fantasy romance reading mood at the time. So we just kept putting it off and putting it off. And now we're both finally getting to be back into that reading mood. And so we do want to read this. It's just, we just kept putting it off, and I just feel like we're gonna keep putting it off until the audiobook comes out. So Rachel added this to her November TBR, so if she picks it up, I will pick it up. But if she's not picking it up, I'm waiting then. Like, that's just how it's gonna work for me. So yeah, eventually I'll get to this, hopefully in November, but you know what? We'll see. We'll just see. So those are all of my reading plans for November. Like I said, it's a lot of really chunky books. It's quite the thick stack. It's pretty ambitious, but you know, I'm hopeful. I feel like I can read some of these. A lot of them I'm reading on audio, which really does help. And then I'm doing a 24-hour readathon with my friends. So hopefully I can knock off like, you know, the manga and maybe one other of these thick chunky books. We'll see, but it is quite the stack. So but I'm really excited to get to all of these books, so hopefully that excitement helps me to read like faster or pick things up more. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, let's leave the star emoji. I don't know why. We're just gonna pick it, the star emoji. And just leave like a comment of which one of these you're most excited for me to read, what you're most excited to read for in November, because I love reading your guys' comments. It literally is just like the most fun thing interacting with you all. So leave a comment down below, and don't forget to click like and subscribe down below if you're not already subscribed, because it helps support me and my channel, and I would really appreciate it. And thank you again so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.